To illustrate these ideas, we'll have a look at some of the features of a prototype Open Earth history model I'm building. You could think of this as a Google Earth for history, but because we want to be able to navigate in time as well as space, we'll unfold the Earth to a flat surface so we can overlay the dimension of time and the dimension of height. The timeline controls our position in time. The current time is where it intersects with the Earth. Here we're set to around 3000 BC, the beginnings of recorded history with the emergence of large-scale polities in the river basins of Mesopotamia and the Nile. Clicking on the polity's time pillar brings up the different periods of its history. And to control our position, we can scroll the timeline up or down, and to get an overview, we can change its scale. We can pull out a bit here, and to make it easier to see, we'll isolate Egyptian history. These shapes are the borders of Egypt during various periods of its history. So for example, we can see their collapse during the chaotic intermediate periods. One of the challenges of organising web information this way is how to get a lot of web pages information on screen and keep them organised and readable. Each of the time periods is connected up to this Wikipedia article, and we can expand the text sections by clicking on the globes and resize the text to a readable scale like so. This is a feature which is really going to enter its own when we port over to an AR or VR context and have the whole visual field to work with. The time pillar is also connected to a database of settlements from the Pleiades project and a database derived from scraping the Wikipedia list of pharaohs. So you can see it populating the dynasties here. To make it easier to see, we'll shift to the map mode. Each timeline represents when and how long each pharaoh ruled, and is located where the dynasty had its capital. So for example, you can see the capital shifting to Memphis at the beginning of the Old Kingdom. To have a look how this looks on a larger historical scale, we'll jump ahead to the beginning of European history. Here the timeline is set to around 850 AD, when we begin to see the emergence of what would become France and Germany from the old Frankish kingdoms. As you'll see, we haven't finished adding all the maps for this period. We can load up the European rulers via the regional time pillar. We'll also set the time to run forward. The time pillar is also linked to a Wikipedia-derived database of political events in Europe. In the future, the plan is to link to open research papers and to explore ways of representing historical data directly in the model. But for now, each event and ruler will be linked to the relevant Wikipedia article. So for example, if we're interested in late 17th century English history, we can scroll on up to find just after the Glorious Revolution, Queen Anne. So far we've only looked at political history, so now we'll jump back a bit to have a look at the history of art. The timeline here is set to 1350, just before the Renaissance begins in Italy. The time pillar here is connected to WikiArt's database of painters and paintings, and we can see it populating the art movements through the Renaissance to its end in Mannerism. If we zoom in a bit, we can have a look at one particular painter. So for example, if we click on Michelangelo and pull back, we can see the program loading a sample gallery of his works, ordered by year of production. OpenEarth is a public, open source project, and it will take your contributions to make it a reality. So whether you want to get involved in the programming, contributing information or 3D models, or if you or your research institution wants to explore integrating your research into the model, Or if you want to be part of the conversation about what the future Earth web will look like, then please get in touch or come along to one of our meetings.